$1,000 on your wedding? The silence on the other end of the line told me that David was finally beginning to understand the magnitude of what Sarah had done. But his next words proved he still didn't get it. Sarah feels terrible about what happened. She was just stressed about the wedding. She wants to apologize. She feels terrible because there are consequences. I said. She feels terrible because her perfect day turned into a public embarrassment. She doesn't feel terrible about what she did to me. I hung up before David could respond. 10 minutes later, my mother called. Megan, honey, I know you're hurt, but this needs to stop. Sarah's parents called us this morning. They're talking about pressing charges. For what? Exercising my legal right to cancel contracts that were in my name? Using my own money to pay for services I was no longer interested in receiving? Tell me exactly what crime I committed, Mom. My mother sighed. You know this isn't about legalities. This is about family. You're right, I said. It is about family. It's about the fact that you and Dad stood there and watched Sarah humiliate me, and you said nothing. It's about the fact that David chose his bride's cruelty over his sister's dignity. So let me ask you something. When Sarah told me I wasn't family, where were you? When she was savoring every second of my humiliation? Why didn't you speak up? Another silence. Finally, my mother whispered, we didn't know what to do. Well, I did, I replied. I knew exactly what to do. I removed myself from a situation where I wasn't wanted, and I took my contributions with me. If that makes me the villain in this story, I can live with that. The second wave of consequences hit Tuesday afternoon. Jennifer Walsh called to let me know that her hotel had decided not to move forward with Sarah's father's jewelry company as a vendor partner. The decision had nothing to do with what you told me, she said carefully. But when we started asking around about their reputation and reliability, some concerning information came to light. I thanked Jennifer and hung up, knowing that Sarah's father had just lost a contract worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in potential revenue. The jewelry business in Los Angeles was built on reputation and relationships, and Sarah's public behavior had created doubt about the family's professionalism and judgment. Wednesday brought news that Sarah had been quietly asked to step down from her position on the board of a prominent charity organization. Apparently, several major donors had expressed concerns about being associated with someone who had been featured so negatively in Los Angeles magazine. The charity, which depended on maintaining relationships with LA's elite, couldn't afford to have board members who were seen as socially toxic. By Thursday, Sarah's social media accounts had gone completely dark. The woman who had posted multiple times daily for years had suddenly gone silent, unable to maintain her perfectly curated online presence in the face of mounting social and professional consequences. Friday afternoon brought the most satisfying development yet. David called, his voice barely above a whisper. Megan, I need to tell you something. Sarah and I, we're having problems, big problems. Her family is blaming me for what happened, saying I should have controlled you better. My friends won't stop talking about the article. Sarah's been crying for days, and she keeps saying her life is ruined. I'm sorry to hear that, I said, meaning it. I was angry at David, but I didn't want to see him genuinely miserable. She wants to meet with you, David continued. She wants to apologize and see if there's some way to fix this. Fix what exactly? I asked. The professional relationships she destroyed? The reputation she ruined? The trust she betrayed? Some things can't be fixed, David. Please, David said, and I could hear the desperation in his voice. Just meet with her. Give her a chance to make this right. I considered his request for a long moment. Part of me was curious to see what Sarah thought she could possibly say to undo the damage she'd caused. Another part of me wanted to see her grovel, to watch her realize that actions have consequences, and that some mistakes can't be undone with a simple apology. Fine, I said finally, I'll meet with her. But this happens on my terms, at a place of my choosing. And David, you need to understand something. This isn't about forgiveness. This is about closure. The meeting was set for Sunday afternoon at a quiet cafe in Santa Monica, neutral territory where Sarah couldn't orchestrate any dramatic scenes. As I drove there, I reflected on the week that had passed since the wedding. 7 days ago, I had been the generous sister, bending over backward to give David and Sarah the wedding of their dreams. Today, I was the woman who had systematically dismantled Sarah's social and professional standing with surgical precision. I felt no guilt about what I'd done. Sarah had made her choice when she decided to humiliate me publicly. She'd gambled that I would quietly accept her cruelty, that I would prioritize family peace over my own dignity. She'd been wrong, and now she was learning that some gambles come with consequences far beyond what you're prepared to pay. The cafe was nearly empty when I arrived, just a few couples enjoying late Sunday brunch. Sarah was already there, sitting at a corner table, looking nothing like the radiant bride she'd been a week earlier. Her hair was pulled back in a messy ponytail. She wore no makeup, and her expensive clothes couldn't hide the fact that she looked like she hadn't slept in days. She stood up when she saw me, her hands trembling slightly. Megan, thank you for coming. I wasn't sure you would. I almost didn't, I replied, taking the seat across from her. But